Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we focus on metals, mining, and more. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. Today, we will discuss a new paradigm in gold exploration and investing. I'm speaking of NOVO Resources. Joining us today is the chairman and president of NOVO Resources, Dr. Quentin Henney. Dr. Henney, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Maurice.
Sir, allow me to be the first to congratulate NOVO Resources on its inclusion into the GDXJ. That's one heck of an accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of a shock to us, but it's nice to have them come in and start buying up some shares, take a meaningful position in NOVO. I think what it really has done effectively is soak up a lot of, some of the weaker hands, and now it's in strong hands, which is good.
It certainly is. And also, allow me to congratulate NOVO Resources on its latest press release issued yesterday entitled NOVO Resources Reports Full Exercise of March 2016 Share Purchase Warrants.
Yeah, look, we've been very blessed, I guess is the best way to put it, for the past few months. We've seen a lot of warrant money come in, and basically that's helped us maintain our treasury at a level of around $70 million for about the past 4 or 5 months. We have quite a few warrants still out. We're seeing regular exercise ongoing, and it really does help with an exploration company like ourselves to know that we have that assurance that we have cash and the ability to move things forward.
Let's discuss the projects for NOVO here. Let's go to the Western Pilbara, sir. What can you share with us?
Sure. This year we really jumped into Comet Well, which is part of the big land package we have there. Comet Well is a very important piece. It's where the conglomerates daylight, they come to surface, and we can get in and do some trenching, and of course we're also core drilling for stratigraphic work, geological understanding. Since January, I think mid-January, we've accomplished quite a few things. Firstly, we determined that bulk sampling is the way to go. An appropriate sample size, say, is minimum 5 tons. Okay, that samples of that size or greater are necessary to get meaningful data. As people know, this is a very nuggety system, but these are the kind of samples that should give us, fairly representative grade of the conglomerate. All right, so we secured a plant, a little processing plant in Perth. It belongs to SGS, which is a worldwide analytic firm, so very good and certified processing. It will give us the numbers that we need. Everything is scrutinized or scrutineered, I should say. As you know, we have scrutineers on site who are watching over the whole sample taking exercise. Plus, we have scrutineers at the laboratory where the samples are being processed. So, very good coverage in that regard. Right now, our main focus is grabbing these 5-ton samples. We've really found our legs, so to speak, in terms of collecting samples. We're now routinely collecting 5-ton samples and opening up more and more areas. So we're feeling pretty good about things. I would expect results sometime in the next month or say 4 to 6 weeks, something along that line. We're very optimistic. Comet Well is intriguing. The conglomerate package is thicker. We're seeing a unit below the unit that we saw at Purdy's that looks quite interesting. There's quite a few detector hits, like metal detector noises, on a routine basis in that lower part of the section. So it looks thicker and certainly more robust.
Well, we're all marking our calendars for the next 4 to 6 weeks here. Let me ask you this, if I may. How many core drilling rigs are on site right now, and can you also share which direction they're drilling and why?
Sure. Look, all of the drilling that we're doing is vertical holes. These are basically stratigraphic tests. As we've said repeatedly, and as most people who know NOVO are aware, the drilling is really for geologic purposes. We're drilling diamond core holes, so these are PQ-sized core holes, to be able to see the rocks, right? Basically, see the conglomerate, see the different lithologic units within it, understand how deep they are, and we're doing that ahead of the trenching. In other words, we're going in and into areas and drilling tight spaced holes with the core rig, so that we know beforehand what we will expect to get in the trenches. All right, so the coring It's given us fantastic geologic information. We're seeing good continuity like we saw last year at Purdy's. We're seeing good continuity of the conglomerate package over a very broad area. And that gives us great comfort that this deposit is truly of potentially large scale size.
Yeah, it's really encouraging to hear the word continuity come from the world's most respected geologist. Let me ask you this: since we last interviewed in November, what have you learned at Comet Well that has impressed you the most?
Well, let's say this: at Purdy's Reward, I explained in a news release about a month or so ago how the gold was distributed through the conglomerate package at Purdy's. Most is concentrated in a half meter or so, towards the base of the conglomerate package. There's a bit of gold in the conglomerates above, and there's also a little gold that's worked down into the footwall below the conglomerate sequence. Here at Comet Well, I think what's intriguing me the most is that there's a thicker section that appears to have, relatively abundant gold nugget strikes. These would be metal detector strikes. In other words, it's not just a little half meter thick, package. It looks like it's a few meters thick that are generating the noises that we hear in the detector. Because of that, we're able to grab a sequence of bulk samples, almost like slicing a loaf of bread, each about a half meter thick up the section. And I think these first results will really give everybody a good understanding of what kind of potential this thing might have.
Dr. Henney, let's switch gears and go to the Eastern Pilbara. What can you share with us?
Yeah, look, Beaton's Creek has certainly not lost any attention. Internally, we're actually gearing up to do quite a bit of work there. Let me give people some background here. A lot of people came into NOVO, into the picture, invested in the stock late in the year. Most of those people were not aware of what we've done in the Pilbara prior. Beaton's Creek is in the East Pilbara, so it's about 300 kilometers from Karratha. It's a conglomerate-hosted gold system, but it's higher up in the stratigraphy than we have at Karratha. Karratha is down at the bottom of the Fortescue group, whereas Beaton's Creek is up in the Hardy Formation, which is kind of in the middle of the Fortescue group. It's similar in nature in that it's coarse gold. Over the past 6 or 7 years, we've done a lot of science to figure out appropriate sample size and means of testing, the grade and so forth. It's nowhere near as coarse as Karratha, but it is coarse. All right. What we're doing this year, we kind of have this epiphany. When we secured this plant at SGS, we realized, wow, this gives us the ability to now go back to Beaton's Creek and grab some bulk samples from there. So we're actually gearing up to do a program where we go around and bulk sample from various areas across the property and treat those samples like the ones we're treating at Karratha, grabbing a few tons of rock, putting it through the plant, and getting a really solid estimate of grade. With that data, we actually hope to be able to upgrade the Beaton's Creek resource by the end of the second or third quarter. I'd say, let's see, what is this, March? I'd say the end of the third quarter. So that's where Beaton's Creek is going. We have, as most people know, we have interest from a Japanese company called Sumitomo Corporation to help finance development of Beaton's Creek. That might be in the cards sometime later this year. Don't have a clear crystal ball on a lot of those questions, but it's looking quite interesting.
All interesting developments. Let me ask you this: any updates on Marble Bar?
Yeah, look, the discovery at Karratha and with what we've learned over the past years really caused us to evolve our thinking around the conglomerate story. There's one area at Marble Bar that is really, we've neglected, I guess is the best way to put it. It's a conglomerate system at a place called Virgin Creek. And we've done some very basic geology in the area recently, and we feel quite compelled that there's a good conglomerate-hosted system there. And because of that, we're currently doing, I'll call it boots in the ground work, and preparing that area for drilling this year. I would say, given its stratigraphic position, it's probably more like the Beaton's Creek target, something like that, but it could be a significant target. We see maybe 4 or 5, maybe up to 6 meters of conglomerate, and it looks like it has very good continuity. So that might be in the cards. People might see news around that, say, in a few months.
Well, we'll certainly be looking forward to that. Dr. Henney, multi-layered question here. What is the next unanswered question for NOVO Resources? When should we expect results? And what will determine success?
Sure. The results from Karratha, the bulk sampling that we're doing at Comet Well right now, will be back in roughly mid-April. People, I try to emphasize to everyone that a lot of this is a bit of we're on a bit of a learning curve here. Everything from bulk sampling, we've got a good grasp on that now, but now we have to process the samples. And there's little, nuances to running a little mill that we have to sort out. But I think we can deliver results, say, mid-April. As far as further unanswered questions, look, our mandate, our goal here at NOVO over the next 6 months, really till the end of, actually about 5 months, till the end of July, is to determine if we feel comfortable gathering the information we need to put together a resource. I'm not saying we're going to have a resource put together for Karratha. What I'm saying is, from the work we're doing, bulk sampling and drilling, do we feel as though we can gather data to put together a resource? Because we really feel compelled that we're going to have to go towards a phase of trial mining, which includes elements of converting the exploration license to a mining license and negotiating native title agreement and permitting and so forth. We're basically doing a lot of that work in the background. I would say in 18 to 24 months, if we stay on this trajectory, there will be an element of trial mining that's involved. And, this story will get quite exciting at that point. It's sort of like the proof in the pudding.
Well, I know that NOVO Resources is laboriously working behind the scenes for their shareholders. Let me ask you this. We've covered the good. What keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
One of the things about Karratha, Comet Well and Purdy's that has been just absolutely perplexing. And I've said this to several, interviewers, I think Corey Fleck and so forth, and then in the news releases we've put out. One of the enigmas we face is this lack of disseminated fine-grained gold. There are not many gold systems on this planet that have no fine-grained gold. Here we are at Karratha, and other than a small halo of fine-grained gold immediately around the gold nuggets, we do not see a disseminated component of fine-grained gold. We don't know why. We suspect that the gold has, back when the sediments were being laid down, that the fine-grained gold was washed somewhere else in the system. But I would say that really keeps me up at night. It's like, where on earth is that fine-grained gold, and how does it fit into the picture? Should we be stepping out into the basin, aggressively looking for the fine-grained gold, or do we, stay hunkered down near surface and try to get this sorted out before we even consider that? These are the things we're trying to come to grips with right now.
All right, sir. Finally, what did I forget to ask?
Oh, let's see. Look, I think we touched on most. In terms of a real-time update, I think this has been good. But I would say that the one thing that we haven't talked about that we probably should touch on is that we have a huge land package at Karratha. It's not just, Comet Well and Purdy's. As you know, it's huge. It's like 10,000 square kilometers. We are going to go out and do some work on more remote areas and see if we have more of this style of mineralization. We have evidence out at a place called Egina, which is east of Comet Well and Purdy's. I think it's about 120 kilometers or so, that there's similar gold in similar conglomerates. These are the kind of areas that we need to go out and hit. Now, it's very hot in the Pilbara right now. People have to understand it's summer down there. It's late summer. And it's very dangerous to actually work in remote areas this time of year. So I would say by maybe late April or May sometime, once it cools down, we'll start working out in those areas. We might be able to deliver to people more information about, the size of this system, the potential size of this system. There's a lot of junior companies in the Pilbara that have turned up similar gold that we see. it gives us a sense that the thing is quite big, but I want to find that gold on our ground.
Dr. Haney, for someone listening that wants to get more information regarding NOVO Resources, please share the contact details.
You bet. We're at www.novoresources.com. The other contact would be Lero Carabellis, who is our IR, Vice President of IR.
And you may reach Mr. Carabellis at 416-543-3120, and his email is leo@novoresources.com. And as a reminder, Novo Resources trades on the TSXV symbol NVO and on the OTCQX symbol NSRPF. And last but not least, please visit our website, www.provenandprobable.com, where we interview the most respected names in the natural resource space. You may reach us at contact@provenandprobable.com. Dr. Quentin Haney of NOVO Resources, thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable.
Thank you, Maurice.
And as a reminder for our listeners, NOVO Resources is a sponsor of Proven and Probable, and that we are proud shareholders of NOVO Resources for the virtues we conveyed in today's message.
Thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable. Remember to like and subscribe for more conversations with the most respected names in the natural resource space. Check out our website at www.provenandprobable.com. The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.